Order! Order! You are an incorrigible delinquent at times. Behave yourself, man!
Now, a dozen Caribbean High Commissioners have called on the British government to stop treating people who came to the UK as children half a century ago as if they were illegal immigrants. The demand follows revelations on this programme by people who arrived and settled in the UK in the 1960s but are now being threatened with removal. The High Commissioners estimate that up to 50,000 of the Windrush generation may be undocumented and at risk of being sent back. Here's our senior Home Affairs correspondent, Simon Israel.
500,000 Commonwealth families came to the UK in the 50s and 60s. They came to work. The Windrush generations thought they were here to stay.
Where do you come from?
Jamaica.
Have you brought your children with you?
Yes.
How many?
5 children.
And
But some of those children, now pensioners, have been targeted by immigration and threatened with removal. Anthony Bryan was detained twice in an immigration removal centre.
Every time I go down, it's like, they're going to hold me today. Am I going to be locked up somewhere and have to phone my missus again? It's just a nightmare.
Michael Braithwaite was told he was illegal after reapplying for his job in a school.
To be put in that position, it sort of made me feel like I'm an alien, basically, or I have no status.
12 Caribbean commissioners today united in an unprecedented move to tell the British government enough is enough.
In a sense, it's a fight for survival, because we have people who are losing access to their bank accounts, to their pension, healthcare, and so it is definitely a fight for survival.
In the 40s, 50s and 60s, more than 500,000 people from the Caribbean migrated to the UK at the invitation of the British government. After immigration rules changed in 1971, those who had already settled in the UK were automatically given indefinite leave to remain. But it's estimated that 50,000 of them may not have registered to safeguard their right to live here.
These individuals, having been here from childhood, had no sense in their minds that they're not British. And that is really the tragedy of it. And so I think that, you know, with a compassionate approach to it, we will understand their circumstances. And I think that's really what is needed.
At the moment, we're in a very hostile climate. And we've got everybody almost taking on the role of the Home Office. You've got employers, you've got banks, you've got the NHS, not willing to do so, but they're doing so. And as a result of that, they are putting, you know, so much pressure on people to prove their status, and that's why we're all seeing an increase.
There are no accurate figures for how many who came as children 50 or more years ago have now become embroiled in battles with immigration enforcement. But tales have emerged of people who've gone back to the Caribbean for family funerals and then not been allowed to return to the UK. What do you think the impact is on communities here?
I think a lot of people are not sufficiently aware of how devastating this particular aspect of those undocumented people who came here before 1971, how that's impacting real life. It's only just beginning to unravel and become a story. And those people who I know, when they hear it, they can't believe it's happening. The people who came here, quite legally, as British subjects, are now being told, you've got to get out.
It's 70 years on from Windrush, and the Home Office today finds itself having to offer reassurance. It says it recognises the value of contributions made by thousands of families who came, and that it wants to work with individuals to regularise their status.
Well, joining me now is Anthony Bryan, who you saw in that report. He faced removal to Jamaica, even though he'd lived and worked in the UK for more than 50 years. Thanks for coming on the programme, Anthony. How old were you when you arrived here?
I was 8 years old when I arrived.
8 years old?
Yeah,
So this has been your home all your life?
all my life.
So when you were first faced with the possibility of removal, what was your reaction?
Well, to be honest, I couldn't believe it. I thought they got it all wrong. But to them they had it all right because they arrested me and brought me to the Verne at the first time.
They arrested you?
Yeah, had me at the Verne for 3 weeks, then let me go, and then arrest me back and bring me to Oxford.
And so how close were you to being forcibly put on a plane and sent back?
I had a plane ticket.
You had a plane ticket?
I had a plane ticket.
And do you have any family back in Jamaica? I mean, is anyone there you know?
Only my
still?
mum retired, which is she's 90-year-old, which that's what I first did my paperwork to go and see, because I realised that I had to renew my passport. Within doing that, everything came down on me. Immigration
So
came
it's
on.
when you tried to renew your passport, the alarm bells rang.
Yeah.
The computer said basically
I'm
you
an
shouldn't be here.
alien. I shouldn't be here. Police start coming around and arresting me and said I'm illegal in the country.
And could you have done the right paperwork at the right time? And did anyone approach you and say you've got to get registered here in order to avoid this from happening?
No. At the time, there was a time when they saying that everybody should get nationalised, but I thought I was nationalised because I came here when I was 8 years old. For my mum done all of that. I was surprised to know that it was not done. But I always felt that I was British. I don't know my country where I come from. I don't know a street in my country where I come from because I've never left the country.
Who do you blame for this?
To be honest, I can't pick out anybody and say I blame anybody. Because if I was going to blame anybody, it would probably be me to make sure that I had my paperwork in order.
You blame yourself before you blame the government?
Well, in a sense, yes, because I assume, which I should have made sure that I had my paperwork. You know, and by then it was too late. I was already very locked up.
You say you feel British. Do you feel different about Britain now that this has happened to you?
Well, not different, but I feel more safe that everything has come to a close now, because I didn't know what to do.
Did you feel betrayed before this?
Yes, I did, because I felt that a country where I've been in 50 years would more protect me than trying to get rid of me to a country where, although I was born there, I don't know the country where I was born.
Because you feel as British as anyone else here?
I feel as British as anybody here. It's 52 years this year I've been here.
Anthony Brown, thank you very much indeed
for
coming on the
very
programme.
much.
Good luck.